watching TV last night, by the way.
Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. I have a roadie guy with me, Rhode Island. Now, I'm not even sure they're allowed to celebrate the 250th because they didn't sign the Constitution. They didn't sign it. I mean, they're always little roadie. I tell my common law students, Jon Brien, that they were always like the last people to come and the last people to sign. So I'm glad you're first in the line of election integrity.
We held out, as we always do. We were the last signatories. But listen, we did it because we just wanted to make sure we got it right. That's all.
Did you have a 250? Did you have a celebration for 250, or did you wait and say, no, we'll do it next year? Because that's what you did with the Constitution.
No, but as you can expect from the blue states, which are ridiculous, such as mine, we didn't send anyone to the Great American State Fair.
Rhode Island didn't send?
We had nobody there. They wouldn't do it.
Your state is not a lost cause. I have a good friend who lives down there, and it's not a lost cause. I liked Buddy when he was alive, and so let's talk about happy stuff. How many Republicans are there in Rhode Island, by the way? How many in the legislature?
So in the House, there are 10 Republicans, and in the Senate, there are 4.
Ooh. You can get together in a diner.
Yeah. But of course, Hugh, I'm an independent.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm an independent. So I'm the leader of the independent caucus in the House. So there are 64 Dems, 10 Republicans, and 1 independent.
Okay, good.
And so I've achieved the lofty title of leader of the independent caucus.
So you did, however, get voter ID, or what did you do to clean up the voter rolls?
So this is my second time in the legislature. The first time I was a conservative Democrat. There was a great purge of conservative Democrats back in 2011 and 2010 and 2012. I survived 10, didn't survive 12. But back then in 2011, we passed voter ID in Rhode Island, and which was remarkable because at the time,
yeah, it is.
It goes to show the difference in the political climate in the U.S., especially with the Democrat Party, because our Secretary of State at the time, Ralph Mollis, when he was running for Secretary of State, he was running on voter ID, and I was running for the General Assembly, and I approached him. I said, let's do this together, and we did. And it took about 5 years to get it through, but we got voter ID in Rhode Island, the only state in New England.
Now, are they attempting to repeal it? Because it really is a big, easy 70% issue with the public. Everybody said, yeah, you need ID to get on an airplane. You ought to be able to show ID for a vote. Do they want to repeal it?
There's a move by the progressives to do it every year, and, it's ridiculous, and I call them out. And so that's my job now, though, as an independent. People were saying, well, what's it like to be an independent in Rhode Island? And I just say, look, I just call balls and strikes. If Hugh puts in a good bill, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to be all for it. And if Hugh puts in a bad bill, I'm going to stand up and decimate it. And that's my thing. And it doesn't matter. But you might put in a good bill tomorrow or a bad bill tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
Where's your district?
I am in the north part of Rhode Island. I represent my hometown city of Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and a small piece of North Smithfield.
Don't they have a Red Sox minor league franchise there? Or is that Pawtucket?
That was in Pawtucket.
Okay.
And by terrible political decisions, Pawtucket picked up stakes and moved to Worcester. So now they're the Worcester Red Sox. Right.
How could that happen?
Because the Speaker of the House at the time was facing a tough re-election, and he did not want to be the Speaker that was basically gave into the team with tax dollars. So we said, we're going to keep putting them through the ringer. And finally, at the time, GM Larry Lucchino said, I'm out of here. And they just pulled up stakes and they left.
John, the one thing, I've been doing this a long time, public policy intellectuals hate spending money on stadiums. The people love it. It's just give us our sports clubs, whether it's A, AA, AAA, or a big league team. You're a Red Sox market, so I assume.
I can tell you that the Worcester Red Sox Stadium, it's called Polar Park, and it is gorgeous. It's fun to go to. It's inexpensive. Every seat is great. And every time I go there, I say, well, I lament, this is what we could have had, a beautiful stadium right off the highway in Pawtucket.
Well, I spend some time every summer in Maine, and the Sea Dogs are up there, and they're the AA franchise for the Red Sox. And whenever I go to a game with my brother-in-law, it's always, I wouldn't say full, but it's 3/4 of the way full. So it's good for the local economy. I've never understood it. Does ALEC ever do a committee on sports and the local economy? I think it'd be great.
No, but they should. In fact, when I was in law school, I wrote a rather long paper for a real estate development course that I had taken, and it was called it was called If You Build It, They Will Come, and it was about NFL franchises and publicly financed stadiums. And at the time, that was the thing. There were so many teams, and it was a lot. Like I was in law school a long time ago, but there were so many teams moving around and relocating. And whether people want to accept it or not, sports teams are a draw. And if you build something, you're going to benefit off of it.
Browns are about to build a new stadium. I bought seat licenses in 1999, and they'll run out in 28 when they move to the new stadium in 29. I don't care. I want them to keep the franchise, and they can go anywhere. That's there's another Worcester for every Pawtucket. There's a competitor out there.
You know, it's funny you say that. Pawtucket then built a soccer stadium right on the river, and it has been nothing but highly successful. Really, it hosts RIFC. And they've done great, and it has been so popular with the state, and they're making money there. So
now,
you're right.
You are the public sector chair of the Process and Procedures Committee. What does that do for ALEC?
So we have concentrated on election integrity issues, and I was blessed. Lisa Nelson, the CEO of ALEC, I consider her a friend, and also someone who has done such a spectacular job with ALEC. I mean, she really has. She approached me and said, we have stayed away. Now, Hugh, you might remember when, and I was a member of ALEC back over a decade ago, when the progressive movement came after ALEC, and a lot of sponsors left.
Oh, that long time ago.
A lot of private sector members pulled out. So they stayed away from election integrity for the better part of a decade. And then she came to me and said, you've done this. This is something that you're passionate about. We're thinking about starting this new task force. Would you like to be the public sector co-chair? And I didn't even think about it. I would.
So
like
tell
to do
the
that.
audience, what does that mean? What do you guys do then?
So if you're not familiar with task forces here at ALEC, it's essentially the equivalent of a legislative committee. So we hear model legislation, we debate it, we pass it, or we defeat it. But if it's passed, it goes to the board for final approval, and then it serves as model policy that any legislator can use in any of the 50 states to put forward good public policy. So all of our task forces operate that way, but we focus on election integrity, and now we're starting to focus on redistricting matters as well. So so we're really starting.
That could get sparky.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But thank goodness it worked out the way that it did in Virginia. That didn't make sense from the beginning, and I think that
I'm a Virginia voter, and we got 1 minute. Tell people why that's the dumbest thing ever to gerrymander the other party out of existence when you're 45, 55 worst state.
You say that you're the protectors of democracy, but then you totally go against what you're saying that you're defending, and you make it such a rigged system. I think they had it perfect decision by the Supreme Court. It should be population-based, not race-based. Isn't that what we all want, Hugh?
Yes.
I mean, really, isn't that what we should all be striving for?
Yeah. And try and keep cities in the same district. That's my one rule. Try and keep Warren, Ohio, wherever you're from, Pawtucket, in the same city. Jon Brien, Independent, Rhode Island. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. It
Always
really
good
is.
to talk to you. Don't go anywhere, America. I'll be right back on the Hugh Hewitt Show.